Hey guys, welcome, right? Welcome aboard. If you're new, welcome back. If you're not, welcome home. If you are family. Let's talk about what's up this week. This is the week of the 13th of June through the 19th of June, 2022. And as always, this will always depend on where you fall in relation to this energy, these messages. Wow. And this week, yeah, that's about right. Monday the 13th, we start with the Sag moon, right? And we witness a very early trine with Jupiter in Aries. And then Mercury moves into Gemini at 10:30 a.m. Central Time. And then the moon in the evening will trine Mars and Chiron, both in Aries, and move indirect Uranus in Taurus, right? So here's the deal. Mercury is still in shadow, right, until the 18th when he moves back through for Gemini. But it will ease kind of the challenges to your communications, right? Especially with Mercury and Gemini. So you may find your communication a little quicker. You may find your wits a little sharper, your tongue a little bit looser, right? With that moon trining Jupiter and Chiron and Mars, this might be a kind of a grand kind of day, right? You might feel into your power or your passion or your desire. Remember that your flex is going to be your heart. And if you've been doing the prep work, you will definitely make gains on the depth and width of that. And as the moon moves into Uranus, make sure, or I'm sorry, as the moon moves quincunx to Uranus, make sure that you have shifted your alignments early, right? So you don't end up second guessing yourself later, because that's never any fun, especially with Gemini Mercury. On Tuesday, the 14th, the moon moves indirect to Venus, and then we have a full moon right at 6:52 a.m. Central Time at 23 degrees Sag. Not long after that, the moon will sextile retrograding Saturn and square Neptune in Pisces. Dinner time, she will move into Capricorn, always exciting. And then just after dinner, that Capricorn moon is going to quincunx that Gemini Mercury. So here are the questions. What are you building, right? Do you have clear plans? Do you have clear blueprints? Have you sat down and drafted those, or are they still just kind of in your head in the planning phase? All okay, but here's the deal. This is a day to pay attention to your foundations, your structure, right? Your resources. This full moon is going to call upon your capacity for wisdom-driven choices, right? Especially with that Capricorn moon. It's going to demand your dedication to this grand project that is your life. So do not avoid really getting down and dirty and solid to the nitty-gritty with your visions, right? Capricorn is that beautiful visionary sign of architecture, right? So allow your feelings to be the driving architecture behind your project. And remember that the project is your life. On Wednesday, the 15th, the Capricorn moon will square Jupiter. Mars will conjunct Chiron right around breakfast. And then in the evening, the moon will square Chiron and Mars, both together. How exciting. And then trine Taurus and Uranus before bed. So mind your reactivity, right? And the urge to be led by your reactivity today. If you are able to lean into the capacity to witness yourself in your most healed and whole and highest and best way, then you can act. If not, if you are not able to lean into that capacity to witness yourself in your most whole and highest and best ways. Then shift into neutral, right? And just do not act or react at all. Just, you can table, right? You can choose to table your actions, because there is a very real possibility that your reactivity could really derail things in a strong kind of way, in a big kind of way, in a grand sort of way that has long echoes. So be mindful, be mindful. On Thursday, the 16th, the sun, the Gemini sun, trines retrograding Saturn. The moon is still in Capricorn, of course, trines Venus in Taurus. And then the sun squares Neptune, which of course is in Pisces. The moon will sextile Neptune, quincunx the sun, and then, yeah, come right up and conjunct Pluto in retrograde. And then the moon will move into Uranus. Wow. The moon will move into Aquarius. How about that? And then trine Mercury before bed. Now here's the deal. You're going to want to get shit done today, right? You're going to want to. I promise you. The sun is trining Saturn and the moon is trining Venus. You're going to want to get shit done today. But the sun is also squaring Neptune and the moon is sextiling Neptune. Here's the deal. You're going to be battling something unseen today. Some kind of enemies, right? That you're not clear about. The hardest part today will be about realizing and claiming that the only enemy you can have is yourself, right? So as this day goes on, you will be invited to deepen and widen your perspective. See if you can't do that. It will make this day and this energy much easier in terms of how and where you're shifting into an expanded version of your own identity, right? On Friday, the 17th, the moon is a little bit busy. She is going to sextile Jupiter and Chiron and Mars and square Uranus. Now here's the deal. Hello. The deal is there's kind of a general kind of a goodwill energy today, interest in the big picture, but there's also kind of a tendency to detach, right? So mind your coping mechanisms, right? On Friday, mind your coping mechanisms and beware that that need for soft knees is pretty strong this evening. You know what they say about those best laid plans, right? And remember that things can shift and change on a dime. So don't be surprised if the ways that you intend to go, the ways that you intend to spend your time, the things that you intend to do are required to shift or change rather unexpectedly, and perhaps by things that feel out of your control. Remember that divine timing is your timing, right? And as long as you can circle back to your alignment instead of your coping mechanism, right? Just keep reaching for that highest and best. On Saturday, the moon, still in Aquarius, is going to square Venus in Taurus. It's going to conjunct Saturn, which is in retrograde, of course, and then trine the Gemini sun. Hello, I see you, friend. And Venus in Taurus is going to square Saturn in retrograde, right, in Aquarius, fixed sign square. And then the moon is going to splash down into Pisces just a little bit before Venus in Taurus sextiles Neptune. Now, here's the deal. This is a reality checkpoint day, right? This is a day that's going to show you how, what you're creating, and whether that is your life, your experience, your home, your identity, your future. It's a day that's going to show you how what you're creating is a reflection of your own identity and psyche, right? So whether that is through the lens of your relationships or your finances, or your rules or your routines, whatever that is, the answers are going to be very, very evident in your experience of them, right? The way your routines and habits shape your experience is going to be available to be crystal clear for you. So here's the deal. Get right with that before evening, right before that moon slides into Pisces. I saw you, friend. Yeah. So things are going to shift into those unseen realms, right, as the moon slides into Pisces and then Venus sextiles Neptune. Right, get right with it, because as that shifts into those better felt than spoken kind of realms, as you're going to bed, right, preload yourself for some answers through the dream time. Ask for some new rules, ask for some new concepts in terms of your expression, in terms of your ideas regarding creation and how to create your real, practical 3D world in that divine, more highly expanded way, and ask for that to be very crystal clear without any illusion, right? On Sunday, the Pisces moon squares Mercury in Gemini, and the sun quincunxes Pluto retrograding in Capricorn. So your expression could be very, very challenged on Sunday. On one hand, you've got your heart, right? Dreamy, intuitive, compassionate, super expanded. And then you've got your head, all about logic and data and critical thinking. Now here's the deal. These two aspects, right, do not happen very far apart at all. In fact, 9 minutes apart. And they really are echoing the availability of the distinction and discernment between your internal and external manifestations as they expand into your identity, and that alignment with and as home, right? Venus, of course, that Venus Neptune sextile from last night, right? We're talking about asking that for messaging, and then the next day you're going to be kind of asked to process that message in light of your head and your heart, and to find a place of I don't want to say comfortable balance, but aligned balance, right? And knowing that where you find that balance is going to be the expansion point for your identity and for the creation of, yes, I see you, of that which comes next, right? In terms of who and what you are, and of course how you're going to bring it into your experience through your energy, through your alignment. So this is a pretty big week. Of course, I mean, they're all big weeks, right? It's just about how you show up to it. The theme of this week really seems to be how we are prepared to create what comes next, right? To create that in an aligned way, or to create that in a way that's holding on to something or some things or someone's or some situations or some beliefs from the past. And okay, yeah. So the real reality here is that we're being asked to find the way to create in that most highly aligned, in service to our highest and best, and the highest and best of all, really. All right, let's talk. So we've got the Eight of Wands and the Sun. This is beautiful. This is forward motion. And the Sun, of course, is that beautiful fulfillment card. It's bliss. It's contentment, right? It is having all of those things that you want. This is brilliant illumination. This is really feeling into your own blessings, right? So as we talked about, Mercury is going to slide into Gemini, sharpening your wits and really creating expansiveness in your communication, right? That conciseness, that ability to really speak what you want. So we talked about feeling your power, right? Your passion, your grand desires. The flex is always your heart, right? The fact that we have this beautiful child on this beautiful horse flying his flag in the beautiful sun with his sunflowers talks about your passion, your desire, right? If you've done the prep work, you will gain all of the depth and breadth and width of those alignments. And again, we talked about that quincunx to Uranus, allowing for those sudden shifts, that sudden movement, that rapid progress. When you're in alignment, everything comes to you just that easily. On Tuesday, right, we talked about this as the day of what are you building, right? Your foundations, your blueprints, your resources, your capacity to dedicate yourself to the demands of your project. Look, we have juggling, right? This is the juggler card. This is, I can juggle all of what I require, right? While I'm standing on this foundation, no matter what the emotional environment is behind me. And this is about waiting, having sown your seeds, being patient. This is that full moon day, right? So what are you allowing, right, to go so that you may call something in, right? As we juggle, we have to catch in an empty hand. So what are you releasing so that you may catch in an empty hand? And then also knowing that that empty hand is already filled with what you are conjuring, right? And as that moon moves into Capricorn, dedicate yourself to the project. Dedicate yourself to the patience, to the fruition and fulfillment of what it is that you're conjuring here, what it is that you're calling in, what it is that you're allowing. Wow, High Priestess and King of Cups, these are lovely, right? We talked about this as a day to mind your reactivity, right? To really witness yourself in your highest capacity. And if not, shift into neutral. Well, here's the deal. We've got the King of Cups who understands emotional embodiment in terms of where to invest and where to not, right? Where to lean in and where to wait, where to feel in and where to not. And then we've got the beautiful High Priestess, of course, all about intuition, all about knowing, first of all, where your alignment lies, right? What is my highest and best? Oh, okay. I know where I'm emotionally fulfilled. I know where I'm emotionally contented. And I also know when to lean in and I know when to lean out. I know when to wait and when to act. I know when to shift into neutral and when to shift into drive. The High Priestess understands innately and intuitively when those moments are. And so as the King of Cups can lead through that emotional fulfillment and those emotional stages of emotional maturity and where to feel in, right, that High Priestess is steering the boat, intuitively knowing how to read those waves, how to read the crests, how to read the ebbs and flows. So that's beautiful. If it's not time, then we wait, right? Oh, Thursday, we talked about this. You want to get shit done. And you're going to be battling your unseen enemies, right? Okay, so we have the Five of Pentacles, right? This is about feeling left out in the cold, feeling like you're lacking some kind of resource or attention or something that you need. And the thing is, this is about feeling like you're not resourced fully. The Ten of Wands is really a card of choosing, right? Choosing where your passions are. Perhaps you've picked up too many things. Perhaps you've said too many yeses. Perhaps you have just too much on your plate. Perhaps you're juggling too much, right? Perhaps you're juggling too much. And here's the deal. If you're juggling too much, you have to know what to put down. And sometimes knowing what to put down creates a situation where we feel like we're lacking something. We talked about right, sparring with unseen enemies, and then realizing that the only enemy you have is yourself. So widen your perspective, right? Widen your perspective sometimes means narrowing your focus, right? We know what happens when we consider the concepts of needs and wants and desires, right? When we believe we need a whole lot of stuff, we might create situations where we feel like we don't have that. But when we let our desires, right, rule the day, when we let our desires rule the day, we innately know what to put down and when to walk away. So if you can do that, you will never have that situation where you feel like you're lacking, because you know what you're leaving behind is always leading you to that next best thing, right? Right, we talked about Friday as having that day where we really, really want to mind our coping mechanisms, and we want to have soft knees because things might come in unexpectedly. So we got the Three of Pentacles here. We have a lot of earth energy asking us to ground this week, which makes a lot of sense. Since we have a Sag full moon, right? We definitely want to be grounded. So this is about collaboration. This is about understanding where to gather your resources, right? And understanding that sometimes you have to be a teacher, sometimes you have to be the student, sometimes you have to be willing to be in both places at once, right? You have to detach from your expected outcome sometimes, right? And that's about putting down those the expectation and then the need to try to control things, right? When we want to try to control something and it's out of our control, or it feels that way. And by the way, what really is in our control? Good question. But so the best thing you can do is simply just detach and be okay with whatever you're in right at that moment. The Hierophant, right? There are some really beautiful correlations here, right? So the Hierophant can be a card of teaching and sharing information and really creating something bigger and passing down information and kind of being in that space of community, right? Which both of these cards represent. The Hierophant can also represent kind of having a rigid outlook. Again, we're talking about whether you're going to be dogmatic or whether you're going to be willing to shift and change with new information. Again, we talked about this as being the day of needing soft knees, right? Really understanding that sometimes the best laid plans are going to change on a dime, and you have to be prepared, right? And if your deep foundations are built, then you're always prepared, right? So these are deep foundations in building together, right? Not being afraid to ask for assistance or advice or direction even, and having a collaborative kind of energetic availability to those things, right? Being prepared for whatever's coming, which is good. Because on Saturday we have that reality checkpoint, right? Again, asking yourself, what are you creating? Whether that's your life, your experience, your concept of home, your identity, your future, any of those things. What does it have to do with your relationship, your finances, the rules, your routines in your life? The Nine of Wands is a card of, what am I really doing here, right? I've had all this forward progress. Now let me take stock of what I'm doing, right? Because I'm now defending all of these passionate ideas, right? And we know that we've had call to do that at least twice this week before. So where am I in relation? Like, I'm prepared to defend. I'm devoted to these things, but if you don't discern it on your own, if you're unable to make your choices internally, right, and start walking away from the things that are bringing you this sense of lack, the universe is going to take over, right? The universe is going to take over. We talked about this as being a pretty powerful day, right? As the moon conjuncts Saturn and trines the sun, and then Venus squares Saturn. what are the things that you're doing? How are you creating your routines? How are you conjuring your relationships? How are you structuring your finances? And the answers will be absolutely evident, right? The ways that your habits and routines shape your life is super clear. You know, because you have to stand in front of them and defend them, right? So here's the thing. Things will shift into those unseen realms, right? We talked about this. And so remember Saturday evening to ask for guidance in that dream time. Ask for guidance in that dream time. And then on Sunday, we have that day where your expressions are going to be challenged, right? Your expressions are going to be challenged. It's King of Swords and the Six of Pentacles. So here's the deal. How are you balancing your head and your heart? You know, how are you balancing that internal and external state? How are you balancing your identity and your expression of it? And what are the ideas and expressions that you are allowing to create that? We've got a Gemini Sun, we've got a Gemini Mercury, both having pretty powerful aspects to a Pisces Moon and Pluto in retrograde, right, in Capricorn. So how are you creating your dichotomy? How are you creating your own flow? And what are you willing to do to maintain that in a healthy, resourced way, right? Here's the deal, y'all. Heal it or blow it the fuck up. This is for real. This is real energy. If you cannot heal it, you must blow it the fuck up. You have to let things go that cannot be healed. If you need to figure out how to heal a thing, ask for help. There's plenty of resources available. Plenty, plenty, plenty. We have this beautiful middle world here. I love this, right? Since we've had so much conversation about where we are. Here we go. The middle world is the realm of day-to-day reality, right? We've got Saturn in retrograde in Aquarius, and the playground of the living. It is the present moment where everything is happening, yet the middle world is created by the future, not only the past, and it is the mirror of invisible realms. How much Neptune did we talk about? When they are not right, heaven and earth must be brought into order as well. And when things are right in the middle world, heaven and earth support everything, right? The middle world shows up when conditions are favorable to your undertaking. Do not hesitate. Move forward, as heaven and earth are smiling upon you. They certainly are. Your time is right, so be expedient, but mindful of not being reckless. The world is your playground, and what would require great effort at any other time can be accomplished with ease right now. Right? We've got a lot of Uranus aspects as well, really allowing you to be in that shift, fully supported, as long as you're willing to just rock the boat just that tiniest bit. Yeah. Do not try to correct in the earth what needs to be corrected in the heavens. Get right with your alignment and the earth corrects itself, right? Get right with your alignment and the earth will correct itself. Your life will follow your alignment, absolutely. The resources to support the change or endeavor you are considering are not readily available to you yet. So it's important to ask for help from the invisible realms, from helpers in the upper world. For now, wait. For now, wait, right? Reality checkpoints. Yeah. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Be in it, right? In Reiki, we talk about how we are the altar between heaven and earth, right? We are the holder of space between heaven and earth. What you conjure in your alignment is what you conjure in your reality, because it's a reflection of the way that you are distilling your spirit. So get right with your sense of home and allow anything that's not following that path to just make its way out of your field, right? Yes, yes, please. Yes, please. Anyway, big giant blessings. We will talk about the full moon on the 14th. And until then, take it easy. Big blessings, all of you.